Okay guys, this is our second beer we're reviewing. This one is a beer that Scott brought over for us to try. This is Arcadia Ales Imperial Stout, and that is the 2009 vintage. A rich and roasty royal brew, 9% ABV and 90 IBUs. So you said you don't know anything about this?
The only thing that I know about it is I've heard people talk about Arcadia, and I actually went to buy a beer last night and saw it on the shelf on the singles rack, and I decided to buy it.
Alright, so this isn't barrel aged or anything?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so it's not a barrel aged beer. It's their Imperial Stout, Battle Creek, Michigan. So this beer is from '09. We're drinking it I guess 3 years later in 2012, January 2012. So
yeah.
Probably almost 3 years old. Let's get into it.
Sure.
Okay guys, the appearance of this beer, go ahead and I let Scott pour it, so I'll kind of let him describe it to you.
Maybe finger and a half ahead. It's very nice, dark brown, almost black. Held to light, you get on the very edge is a very tiny amount of ruby. The head is tan in color.
A lot of big bubbles in the head.
Fairly decent sized bubbles. It's settling into like I don't want to say scum because it's not really scum, but that's kind of what it looks like. It's just a little skim on top of it. Leaves some small but fairly abundant lacing on the glass.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely some interesting bubbles on there that are kind of sticking around and lingering, and more bubbles than actual just kind of foam in the appearance of this beer, but a pretty decent looking beer. Alright, let's see what this thing smells like.
Yep, English.
Yeah, for me,
English.
the 90 IBUs is, I guess tells me that there's a lot of hops, and then when I smell it, it's just like the hops. It's just hops for me, I guess, which doesn't really make sense. I guess it's maybe just what they use in it, because it's an '09, so you would think the hops have been faded, but I'm just getting that English hop smell.
Very earthy and woody, kind of East Kent.
Yeah,
Goldings maybe. Roast.
Yeah.
More than anything else. I am getting a little tiny bit of like a fruity estery note to it, but it's not overwhelming. It's just a note, exactly what it sounds like. It's not a main component of it, but it's there.
Right, and then I think it's definitely a beer that's the smell is, I don't want to say out there, but it's not your typical Imperial Stout smell.
Right.
It's weird. To me it's weird. I guess it's just nothing that I've tasted before in a
very
stout.
English in character.
Yeah.
It's very heavy on the wood and earthiness of the hops that's in it, and the roast is strong, but it's not overbearingly strong like it is in some of the American Imperial Stouts.
Right, for being the 90 IBUs, you can tell.
Yeah, it's definitely hoppy for an Imperial Stout.
It is very bitter for Imperial Stout. It almost has, I would say, IPA characteristics in the ending mouthfeel, because I just feel this bitterness on my tongue that you don't really get from your normal Imperial Stout.
It's definitely there. The hops are definitely there. Chocolate is there a little. Like I said, I get a little bit of like a molasses to it. Like almost a dark brown sugar.
Yeah, I agree that molasses. It's
but
not sweet.
It's not sweet.
Right.
It's just like the aftertaste that you get with a dark brown sugar.
I feel like this beer's held up really well. It must have been stored in the refrigerator or some conditioned pretty well. The carbonation isn't high, but it pours with a good head. So
how's this for a thought though? It's 90 IBU and it's held up this well over the years. Could you imagine drinking it fresh?
Yeah, well, that's this is an '09 bottle. This is almost 3 years. So being fresh, you might mistake this for a black IPA or a dark ale, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and let this warm up, and then get some more out of the taste and see what we think after it warms up a little bit, and come back with our final thoughts on our rating.
Sure.
Okay, we're back with our final thoughts. We've let this warm up a little bit. The Arcadia Ales Imperial Stout 2009 vintage. And for me, the 90 IBUs really really define this beer for me. It is, being almost 3 years old, it's still really hoppy. Brings out some other characteristics, but I think the hops really take center stage in this beer.
Yeah, it's a very English character Imperial Stout. If I didn't know it was made in America, I would assume it was English, to be honest. It's good, and I enjoy English style beers. You know, I haven't had a lot of them, but I've had my fair share. And honestly, the hops are very prevalent in this beer, but at the same time, they really don't take away from it a lot.
And I think you get the bitterness, but that's not to take away from what
Right.
what it is, because I'm still getting the wood characteristics that you talked about.
Here's the one thing I can say that is very impressive about this beer is 9% alcohol.
I agree.
Because it's not there.
You don't taste that.
There's no real aroma of it. The taste is so overwhelmingly hoppy and roast that you just don't even notice it. And at 9%, this is dangerous.
It's warmed up a lot, and I think it's just got a woody character, super hoppy, and a very different beer. And I think if you open this bottle, you could almost mistake it for a black IPA. It's very hoppy. But what's your final rating on this beer?
I'd say solid B.
Yeah, and I'm not to be the same, but I'm gonna have to go B too. It's not what you think of a regular stout. It has a bitterness that you don't see in any super imperial stouts or whatever. But it's still a really good beer, and you still get some of the stout notes in it. Overall, very bitter, but still a good beer.
Solid.
Definitely solid. All right, guys. So overall, we give it a B. If you guys have had this beer, let me know what you think. Remember, this is aged for almost 3 years. This is the 2009 vintage, so it's definitely changed. If you've had this fresh or if you've had it aged, let me know what you think. We gave it a B. So until next time, cheers.
Cheers.